Pardon me, Mr. and Mrs. Pawnbroker, I want to ask you a question. What would you loan me? Could you give me some money on this perfectly good stuffed bobcat? Beautiful, doesn't eat much either. Hi, I'm Steve Krupnick. You think I'm kidding? That sort of thing happens all the time in a pawn shop. Expect it. You may have found this video because you're doing some research on the pawnbroking industry. I know it's not an easy thing to do. Maybe you're even looking to possibly open a pawn shop. Well, let me tell you something. Over the years, I have talked to hundreds of budding entrepreneurs, probably not unlike yourself, who are interested in opening a pawn shop, becoming a pawnbroker. So let me ask you something. Why? Do you know? Maybe your stockbroker said that the stocks for the publicly owned pawn shops are going through the moon, and it might be a good recession-proof business for you. Maybe you read an article in the Wall Street Journal about pawnbroking. Heck, maybe you read an article about me in my book, Pawnonomics. Anything's possible. Maybe you just saw a couple of episodes of the hit TV show Pawn Stars and said, you know, that looks like fun. Maybe I should try that for a business. But the fact remains this. Most people, and possibly you, unless you've had some sort of exposure, hands-on exposure to the pawnbroking industry, really does not have a clear vision of what the industry really is. And if you happen to think that it's buying and selling and trading and swapping goods and looking at cool stuff and buying low and selling high, if you think that's all it is, let me give you an idea. It's not. A pawn shop is to get cash, money, into the pockets of the people who need it the quickest and the most. And a lot of times, they've got no place else to turn but to the pawnbroker. Now, if this is something that interests you, helping other people in order to run your business, you might just be a candidate to be a pawnbroker. I know, I was one for 30 years. 30 years. And it doesn't matter what I do now because I'm going to make your life easy if you're serious about researching pawnbroking. I just launched a new website. It's at startapawnshop.com. That's startapawnshop.com. And on this website, you're going to find a bunch of free information about the pawnbroking industry. There's some reports up there, there's some links, I've done a lot of homework for you so you can intelligently make a decision on whether you really want to get into this business. Go to the website, startapawnshop.com, and take a look at everything. Digest it. Take your time. Then, if you still seriously want to get into the industry, let me give you a hint. On that website, there is also a bit of information about the National Pawnbrokers Association in the United States. And what they have is an apprentice pawnbroker membership. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you, because you can join their organization for 1 year and 1 year only as an apprentice pawnbroker at a greatly reduced price. Yes, there's money involved. I think it's $300. Forget about it. Well worth the investment. If you're still serious about opening a pawn shop, download the membership application that's on the website. Fill it out break out your credit card, fax it into them, mail it into them, call them, and join that organization. Because this summer they've got a trade show coming up. It's the Pawn Expo. And you can find out information about that at pawnexpo.com. But if you join that organization, if you look at the stuff on openapawnshop.com and you want to get into the pawnbroking industry, join them and go to that trade show. This is going to put you on the fast track to being the best pawnbroker you can possibly be. But first, do your research and make a decision. Is this something you're willing to dedicate yourself to? Is this something that you're willing to put your resources and your time and your effort into to help the people in your community and also to help yourself and your family? If it is, that's where you want to be, at the Pawn Expo. All the information's on the website. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. By the way, you never did answer me. How much would you loan me on my Bobcat?